let's switch gears real quick to technology and AI. Jay brought up the fact that the jobs are being taken away by AI. This is not a hyperbole. Well, one part of the industry, which is the Writers Guild, they're being replaced. They're on strike now, but it seems like they're not suffering. The industry is not suffering. AI is writing all the scripts, and music's being written by AI. But now you have other sectors that are being affected by AI, and this scenario. It's really interesting. And I watched an interview with someone that works with Elon Musk about, hey, AI becomes so powerful. Hopefully they keep us around, of course, tongue in cheek, but not so much tongue in cheek. Wendy's is putting in AI in their drive-throughs. This is a local, well, not local, but nationwide fast food place that you can order through AI. EU lawmakers are trying to regulate it, Jacob, and trying to be the first ones to have some regulation. I think the Pandora's box is completely open. They're not going to be able to put it back on. But this leads to other things. AI controlled cities, what they call the 15-minute cities, will be controlled by smart cities through surveillance, zero privacy. We've seen what China's done since 2016, 2017. Jacob, talk about it, then we'll go around. How much AI is going to play influence in society, finances, and of course, ultimately, we look at, as Christians, we look at this from a biblical perspective. How far are we in already? We know where it's going. How far are we in already?
Yesterday, Elon Musk, I believe it was yesterday, said he believes that AI can become more intelligent than human beings eventually.
Yeah.
I'd like to read from Revelation chapter 13, verse 14. He deceives those who dwell on the earth because of the signs which it was given to him to perform in the presence of the beast. This is the false prophet before the Antichrist. Telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image, an icon, Greek word icon, to the beast. In other words, not simply of, but to. It's an adoration, commemoration of him. Now listen, who had the wound of the sword and came back to life, counterfeiting the resurrection of Jesus. Let's look. And there was given to him breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast might even speak and cause as many who do not worship the image of the beast to be killed. That word breath is psuke. It is like when God breathed on Adam, he became a living soul. In the person of Antichrist, the false prophet, in the person of the false prophet, Satan, is going to try to do what God did. Create a new species by putting his breath into it. Now that word is suke. In other words, you're talking about something that has a consciousness of its own. An automaton, a computer system that will be in an image, an icon that will have an intelligence of its own. This is frightening. This will be not just technology gone out of control. It'll be technology that is satanically commandeered. You are going to have a satanically commandeered super technology. It's going right for Revelation 13. Just look at where AI is now. It cannot take a very long time for this to happen. The pace at which these technologies are improving is incredible in itself. Remember, in Daniel, knowledge will increase, and that has a wide meaning, of course, but the pace at which it's happening, these things can happen very quickly. We are running out of time to fulfill our mission and to proclaim our message. The faithful believers only have a certain amount of time. This stuff is becoming imminent. Imminent. The technology will be satanically taken over and have a soul like an animal does. It'll not be a human soul, but it will be a soul.
Some intelligence. Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that's really interesting, I don't know if you have heard that chatbot GPT-4 can now be, can respond to you now via voice, and you could see an image of chatbot GPT. Before it was just a prompt. You just put in your prompt and you got back some words. Now you can see an image, you can talk to it, and you can it can actually respond to you via a voice, sort of like Siri or these other assistants, like Google assistants and things like that. So what is interesting is the makers of chatbot GPT, which is OpenAI, they didn't think this was going to be around until 10 years from now. But how quickly it has evolved, how quickly it's learned, how quickly it has the technology has increased, has even befuddled their own makers. And so, we're not really making a hyperbole about this. As Jacob pointed out, it is moving very fast. And talk to anybody in AI, the developments of AI and its learning. And what's interesting, Jacob, what is causing it's a feedback loop mechanism within the system, meaning that because it could lie, because it has a bent against Christians and against conservatism, it actually is able to write documents that if you search it out and say, well, let's say it's transgenderism wrong, and they would go on and tell you, no, it's wrong, it's fine, it's this, children can have their own choices, whatever. And because it's connected to the internet, it actually would put those documents into the internet. So if anybody wants to look them up and look up like, hey, what does chatbot GPT says about this? It'll actually give them a response from chatbot GPT. And so it basically confirms like a loop back mechanism of a lie being perpetrated over and over and over and over again. And that's going to be what people believe. It's already in the system. You know what I'm saying? It's a feedback mechanism that it lies upon lies upon lies. And it's because it's made in man's image and likeness. And it eventually will have demonic powers. As Jacob put it out. Jay, I just want to go to you very quickly. Obviously, we talked about AI for a while. It's nothing new for us here, but what stands out to you when new developments come on and we look at how fast it's approaching and things that we've never thought it could do? But what impresses you? And impressing me doesn't mean it's a good thing, but what impresses you the most about AI and how fast it's going?
Well, one thing that I wanted to mention, that if you ask an AI like chatbot GPT, tell me about Jesus, it won't give you anything. It will say, he's a fictional character that Christians venerate, if you get that much. But if you ask, tell me about Buddha, they'll give you a list. Buddha was a holy, Siddhartha Gautama was born in India and was a venerated holy man that everybody loved. So you can see the bias there. It strikes me that fallen man has created something not in his own image. AI is not in the image of man. AI is in the image of what they want as a God. They want something that has, like you said, omniscience. It can see through all the eyes electronically. It can know everything about the person that it's looking at. This is crazy to the point where, if you really want to know where we're heading, because again, it's going to do everybody's job for them soon. If you've ever read George Orwell's Down and Out in London and Paris, where it talks about the different classes of people that will be begging, from the person that sells flowers to the person who sells matches. These are going to be the only jobs that people have in the future. And then chatbot is going to, or AI is going to look at those people and say, they're loitering. You need to pick them up. And it's the same with, you look at how they have everyone under surveillance now. You try to preach the gospel on the street, you're disturbing the peace. Arrest him.
David, you and I watched that video. It was quite a few years already. It's pretty old now. In terms of, when I mean old, it means more than 3 years or something like that. Because the technology and data comes in so fast now. But this was China when they were testing out, which is very prevalent now, their social credit score, Skynet, I mean, back then we were trying to shout from the rooftop, hey, China's doing some crazy stuff and it's going to come to the West. Not a lot of people paid attention to it, but hopefully now people pay attention to it. They call it Skynet, but now we have 50-minute cities. We have 600 million surveillance cameras, half of the world in China and developing in other countries like Britain, the United States. It's going to be impossible to hide. It's going to be nearly impossible to hide. And if you're considered an enemy, because that's what they were talking about, we can apprehend all these criminals. It just depends what their crimes are. This surveillance is coming to smart cities developed in the West. How do you explain this to Christians who may or may not be aware or may not be even be caring about what's coming, but they honestly should be knowing what's coming and preparing themselves spiritually?
Well, people are asleep, and even in the church, and we get people, I talk to people about evangelizing people, and I hear too many Christians are saying, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to see it, I want to talk about it. So there's this great apathy among people who call themselves the church and Christians. And so we do have to wake them up, and that's something that's going to be really important. Because this is the gentleman that was interviewed on the film said this is omniscient surveillance, omnipresent. It's everywhere. So and what were they looking for? Constantly looking for criminals, and
Yes.
you have to have your card, you have to comply, you must comply, you must comply. And so for freedom-loving people like America has been, will disappear under these systems, and it'll be so weighted. And what China has done, they're the test for the world, and it worked. And they shut down cities, and it drove people insane, even under a communist country. I can't imagine what it's going to do here to people.
Yeah.
I know the
Yeah.
cities will be shut down first. The big cities. Now you've got the mass part of your nation under control, and 15, like you said, 15-minute cities. You can only go this far, this many blocks, and you have a machine that tells you, you put your card out there, you can't go past this place, can't go past this place. If you do, you've been surveilled, and now you're a criminal. So it's forced compliance, no more free will. No more amendments. It's the destruction that is coming.